Hey guys, Soraya here. This is my last book presentation, and I kind of was inspired by the book Beauty by sorry by Robin McKinley, and how it told a new perspective of the story of Beauty and the Beast. And so I kind of looked for another book kind of similar in that direction, and I found the book Persian Cinderella, and I really liked it because it wasn't exactly like the Cinderella fairy tale that we know, but it was similar in some ways, but also really cool and different in the others. So, just going to quickly flip through some of these pages because I really liked the artwork and everything, and I just thought it was really cool. So, here's that. But, in a quick summary, Persian Cinderella, kind of like Cinderella in general, she loses her mom, and so she is then supposed to live with the girl side of her home with her stepmother, her two stepsisters, 3 aunts, and 4 female cousins. She was always so lovely, and everyone ignored her, and kind of like Cinderella, so like everyone bossed her around and ignored her. But she was different in that she had a star. You can see in the picture, she has a star on her left cheek. And her name, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Shatera, meant star. And so it was kind of fitting for the star on her cheek. In similarity, like Cinderella, she always got the hand-me-downs from her 2 stepsisters. But that didn't even bother her because, again, she was the loveliest, and she had a heart of gold, and just didn't let those little things bother her in my perspective of reading the book. Later in the story, her dad comes, and he's never around because he's one of the busiest and hardworking, I quote from the book, world of men, so he's always gone and everything. But her dad comes and tells the girls that they're invited to the royal palace for a New Year celebration called New Ruts. I feel like I'm saying that wrong too. And that so her dad gives all the girls 1 gold coin to spend on new linens. But because she is the one that is most, what's the word I'm looking for? Picked on, but not picked on, but like she's like Cinderella, she gets the short end of the stick. She hardly ever eats, so she spent her money on some almonds because she hadn't eaten all day. And then in the story, they give her she gives her money to a homeless woman, and then she buys a jar. And quickly ending up the summary, she uses the jar, and her stepsisters make fun of her for wasting all her money, but she doesn't really care because she was okay with not going to the festival. But she loved the jar so much, and that she did wish, in the story, she wished for jasmine blossoms, and the jar began to shake and quiver, and thus having jasmine blossoms for her. And she realizes that it's like a magic jar, so she wishes for pears and figs and like a friend, so she gets a little dove and everything throughout the story. And then, like Cinderella, it's like a fairy godmother, but instead of a godmother, it's a fairy jar. And she wishes for some new linens, and then it is the prettiest ones of them all. She gets 2 ankle bracelets, which are gold, and then she ends up going to the palace. And she, like in this picture, she got noticed by a young man, which is revealed later to be the prince. Also, like in Cinderella, she loses, instead of a slipper, she loses one of her ankle bracelets. And then they set and look for her, for the girl who fit the ankle bracelet, which ended up being her. And you think that she's going to live happily ever after, but her sisters are not happy that she is going to be marrying the prince instead of one of them. So they wish that she was gone, and they were holding the blue jar, and suddenly it started to quiver and shake again, and it like in this text it says that they it like spewed smoke and everything, and then it finally cracked. But as her sisters were faking getting her ready for her own wedding, they put, this is important, they put 7, oh, I'm sorry, no, they put 6, my bad, 6 hairpins in her hair, and then she turns into a dove. So, not like Cinderella, she doesn't get turned into anything, but the prince was looking for her and everything, and couldn't find her, and suddenly this dove comes near him, and he's like petting the dove and petting the dove, and he realizes there's 6 hairpins, and he's like pulling them out, and then he turns back into a human, and then they live happily ever after, and they get married. And it was a really cool book, and I liked how it was different than Cinderella, like it was different than Beauty and the Beast, and this one was different than from the original Cinderella, which I really liked. Considering this book, I would think it's a new modern era. Like, for me, it fits into what we were talking about this week, reading as other. And it's not like, it's reading as other in like modern fantasy, I guess, which I thought was really cool, but also kind of kept the folktale story alive, which again was really interesting. I really liked it. I've read a couple different versions of, not Persian Cinderella, but like different versions of folk tales that we know and like. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, it's called Persian Cinderella by Shirley Clemino. I cannot pronounce, but yeah, thanks guys.